Hey guys, Andrew Michael here. We're going to get things started here in just a couple of minutes. Just wanted to jump on here, get things fired up. So, see we got about 9 people on here so far, but we'll get to the questions here in just a minute. So we'll get to all the questions. First off, if anybody's out there for the Ustream, if you guys want to go ahead and pop on your reports of what you guys are seeing as far as snowfall totals so far, not snowfall totals, ice. I know we're seeing some ice out there with some freezing drizzle. Let me know what you guys are seeing, how much of that you guys are seeing, and we will get to that coming up. I'm going to turn on a couple of lights for the studio real quick. When you're done, Chip, the only one I need on is just weather desk. Sure. Thanks. All right. All right, let's see here. First off, I want to get to, there was one question that I had seen on the Ustream channel. All right, so again, thanks for everyone jumping on here. Andrew Michael here with ABC 6 Fox 28 doing the live video stream. And if you guys have any questions, there's a social stream when you guys are watching the video on Ustream. If you look just to it'll be, if you're watching it, it'll be over on the right-hand side. For me, it'd be the left. So just look over to the right-hand side there, and you guys can see all of the questions. So should be right over there. So you guys can just post your questions there, and I will get to those. I did see one question here on there. How does thunder snow happen? This is from Noah Kaser. Thunder snow happens when you have a really strong thunderstorm, but temperatures are cold enough where there's no snow melting. So all the way from the upper part of the atmosphere, snow falls the whole way. With what we're seeing outside right now, temperatures are kind of not at the surface. At the surface, they're below freezing, but just a little bit higher into the atmosphere. We're seeing snow melting, and then it refreezes at the surface. So that's why we're getting the ice. So the thunder snow is just a thunderstorm that happens to be when it's cold enough that there's snow outside. So a good question here from Mike Boyd, and that's what I want to kind of really start off with. He asked, what constitutes the difference between a winter weather advisory and a winter storm warning? So for that, I want to show you guys the graphic for this. And Mindy Park Kell, who asks questions on here sometimes, she asked the same thing just, I think, 3 days ago. So she asked, what's the difference between everything? So I'm going to show this to you guys, and I'm going to flip the camera around. So this is by the National Weather Service. They have the criteria here, what each of these are. Hopefully we can get this in focus for you. Get that in focus a little bit better. Back it up. All right, so here's what it is. So for a winter weather advisory, we'll put it on that. So winter weather advisory for the northern half of the National Weather Service office in Wilmington. That's where they need at least 3 inches of snow or under a half an inch of ice, of sleet, or 12 hours. And then for the southern half, because they think that the northern half can deal with the ice a little bit better, it really depends. That's why sometimes we're like, well, you don't meet the criteria. And this is why. For the southern half, it's 2 inches of snow, and the top half would be 3 inches of snow. For the winter storm warning, I just put the mouse over the winter storm watch warning. So the watch just means that it's going to be affecting you in the near future. Warning means that it is happening now. So for the north, it has to be, what is it here? For the north, it's 6 inches of snow within 12 hours or 8 inches of snow within 24 hours. And then for the south, it's just tweaked down just a little bit. 4 inches of snow in 12 hours or 6 inches of snow in 24 hours. So that's where they come up with the advisories. If it's not going to be as severe, they'll go with the advisory instead. So it's a lot less significant of a snow. Freezing rain, which we don't have any of these issued right now because you need a 1/4 of an inch or greater, which I don't know if we're going to get a 1/4 of an inch of ice out there, especially with temperatures warming up. And then a freezing rain advisory with a 1/4 of an inch. So blizzard warning. So this is kind of interesting. A lot of people get the warnings of these mixed up. Get that in focus. So blizzard warning, sustained winds or frequent gusts of 35 miles per hour greater, and there has to be falling or blowing snow, and that's the big one. This last one's the big one. Visibilities have to be reduced to a 1/4 of a mile or less for at least 3 hours. So that's why a lot of times when we have these big storms, everyone's like, why isn't it a blizzard warning? Well, that's why the big thing is you need that reduced visibility for at least 3 hours. All right, so I want to go back over to the Ustream. So I got those 2 questions done at the bottom. Check the social stream. So if you guys have any questions, again, post those on the side there on that social stream, and I will be answering your guys' questions. And also, if you guys are on Facebook or Twitter, on Facebook, if you guys just search Andrew Michael, or if you go to facebook.com/Andrew Michael ABC6 Fox 28, all one word, facebook.com/ABC6 Fox 28. You can post your questions on there. I have like a picture of the Ustream, but if you guys just leave your comments on there, I'll get to those questions. And then if you're on Twitter, which is really easy to ask the questions on there, I know Alex may just asked one on there. It's Andrew WSYX6, so Andrew WSYX6 on Twitter. All right, so start off here. What is up with the overnight Monday morning weather looking like so far? This is from WV Sunset Angel. So I'll show you guys the radar right now. What we're keeping an eye on is I enhanced the reflectivity on here. So what you're seeing right here is actually where we've got really dense fog or mist. So normally if we had this radar, like for instance down here, the sensitivity, I increased it a lot. So if I take this back, normally we have this set to like about 5. And you see it's not picking up anything. But if I take this down here and bump it to -7, which is what I've been running it at today, you can see it starts picking up on that mist. And that's what we're watching outside. It's just this little bit of a mist that's pushing its way through. And even some of this rain may slowly push its way up into central Ohio. But that's really what we're watching, is this little bit of mist that's going to be pushing its way in. The other important thing are the temperatures. So these have actually been warming up just a tad. At 6 o'clock, we were at 28 degrees here in Columbus. We're up to 30. Athens was at 32. They're holding on to 31 right now. But all of these numbers have just bumped up like 1 or 2 degrees in the last couple of hours. So right now we're all below freezing at the surface. And I'll show you guys this too. So here's... this is a graphic that Bill Kelly and I kind of made together. So with the thunder snow and even what we're seeing outside like earlier, temperatures in the entire atmosphere have to be below freezing for the snow to stay as snow all the way to the surface. With what we've got going on with the winter weather, the wintry mix, with sleet, there's a little bit of warm air. So when that snow falls, it melts in this warm air, and then there's enough time before it comes down to the surface that it completely refreezes into little ice pellets, and that's how you get sleet to form. Then this last one here is freezing rain or freezing drizzle, which is kind of what we're seeing outside now. So it is, normally with freezing rain, you'll get the snowflakes to fall, it melts into rain, and then just right here at the surface, it's a below freezing, which is kind of what we're seeing outside now, and that's when it freezes as soon as it touches the surface. The cars, the sidewalks. I was just outside for my dinner break, and there was a lot of ice outside. And I've been on Twitter, too. A lot of people are saying over by the Dayton area, Toledo area, they're noticing a lot of ice, really slick roads. So the situation tonight, temperatures are going to warm up a couple more degrees, so it's going to be right at that freezing mark. So if you're at location, maybe in like a valley-ish area, temperatures normally stay a little bit colder, so you might actually see, for you, that you see a little bit more ice, where if you go into maybe some inner communities or whatever, where the buildings and the roads and the streets hold the heat a little bit better, it's a little bit warmer, that's where you'll end up seeing it be a little bit more rain than the ice. So that's kind of the setup for tonight. It's really going to be just pockets of ice. So big thing tomorrow morning, if you guys are heading out, watch out, because you may be in an area where you're not seeing the ice. Your deck's fine. You walk outside, you're like, that's not that bad. But as you're heading into work, you might hit spots of ice on your way into work. Question here from Aaron Kelly. What is the weather for tomorrow for Chillicothe, Ohio? Can you possibly bring up a live map? So I just showed you the live map there of what we're dealing with. Just watching this light wintry mix try to push its way in. Really, it's just that mist and drizzle. It's very fine. That's why I have to amplify the sensitivity on the radar, because it's so small of little rain droplets. Radar can't pick those up very well. And as far as tomorrow, I have a 20% chance of maybe seeing a little bit of mist and drizzle, but for the most part, we'll have high pressure, a weak area of high pressure built in, and then another chance for more snow for southern Ohio heading into Tuesday. So far, there is nothing that I can see in Pataskala from Diana, so thanks for that. Again, it's pockets, so Some areas where we've been seeing it, like here at the station, I didn't show you guys this yet. If you guys watch the 6 o'clock news, I did show this. So this is our tower cam looking at downtown right now. It's completely iced over. At 5:20, you could see downtown crystal clear, and then within about 5 minutes, it's just completely iced over. So again, it's in pockets, and when you do see that icing, it's going to get really slick real fast, especially, again, any place that's not salted or treated, that's where you're going to see the ice build up the quickest. All right, so another question here from Alex May. Any early predictions for a white Christmas? On a related note, do you like bowling? I'm not the greatest bowler in the world. I try to have fun with it. As far as Christmas, I will show you guys what the forecast models have for it right now. You know, just a little sneak peek. And again, we're talking 16 days out. So Alex is a friend of mine, and I have this analogy with bowling. So I think of forecasting kind of like bowling. One day out, it's like half the length of a normal bowling alley. You can hit a spare strike pretty often. 2 days out, that's a normal bowling alley length. You can hit a strike pretty often, especially if you're pretty talented at it. But when you get 16 days out, that's like putting bowling alley after bowling, or bowling lane after bowling lane after bowling lane. We're talking 16 days, so that's 8 bowling lanes length. You can hit a strike. It's not impossible, but chances of it are pretty slim. So I'll pull this up here and show you guys what the models are showing for Christmas, because they do go out far enough that we can get right up to Christmas. Everyone wants a white Christmas every year. So here's what it is showing for Christmas Eve afternoon. And it is showing, this is the freezing line. So that is down here past West Virginia. So that is showing some light snow. And that would be, again, for Christmas Eve afternoon. And even a decent amount of snow heading into, that would be the afternoon the day before. So Christmas Eve is on a Tuesday. This is Monday afternoon. And then this is Tuesday. So it is showing snow on there. We'll have to see if that verifies, because, again, each forecast model, especially when you get 16 days out, they tend to vary a lot that far out. All right, so let's check out, see if there are any other questions. Hi, Andrew from Eric's. What's up, Eric? Thanks for jumping on here. Are you getting your views up? Yeah, more people. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we're getting more people on here, which is good news. I want to try to answer all the questions on here, because a lot of people want to know, hey, I have something going on this week. I have to put up my Christmas lights, or I need to do this, that, and the other. Let me know what you guys are doing, on where you're doing it, and when, what, when, where, and I can let you guys know what the forecast will be like that. Nothing in Utica yet from Lynn, so thanks for letting me know what it's like there. If you guys have any ice out there, let me know where you guys are seeing the ice and where you're not seeing the ice, because I'm kind of keeping a record and verifying it with what we're seeing on the radar, and I'll use these in the newscast tonight, so I really appreciate you guys letting me know what you are seeing. Aaron, I already answered that question. How does the morning drive look tomorrow? That's a great question. So the morning drive, again, it's going to be patchy. So the ice that we're seeing, it's really going to be where you're seeing temperatures below freezing. So, for instance, let me pull up this map, and I will show you. So, morning drive tomorrow, let's say, and all these temperatures are expected to go up a couple more degrees. If everyone goes up, let's say, for sake of argument, 2 more degrees, Grove City would be above freezing. So, for them, it would be not too bad. It would probably be a wet commute in. Grove City, though, would only warm up to 30, so if, let's say, they're heading around 270, it may be nice and above freezing here, but then they enter this pocket where it's below freezing. So tomorrow, more important than ever, you got to be careful, because you may think it's fine where you are, and you're going to hit just, bam, ice all of a sudden in spots. So just take it easy, especially tomorrow morning. Even out there on my dinner break tonight, when I was getting on to 315, everything was fine. On side streets weren't too bad, but as soon as I got on to 315, I noticed that my truck slid out a little bit real quick. So it is starting to get icy in spots, so just be careful out there for anybody that's heading out to do any driving around. So tomorrow morning, it really depends. I would definitely leave a little extra time tomorrow morning, more so than the last few mornings, but I would just be pretty careful on the roads tomorrow morning. New Lexington City School District is on a 2-hour delay tomorrow from Austin Wright. I have not been made aware of that. Let me check real quick. One sec. Hey, it's Buck. Hey, have you heard any school delays so far? Okay. All right. Okay. If you hear anything, just shoot me an email. Thanks, Alex. Bye. All right. So I checked on that school delay from Austin Wright for New Lexington. So far, that's the first I've heard of that. I have not heard of any school delays, so we'll check on that, Austin, for you. Buckeye Mike saying freezing rain and mist in Forest, so thanks for that report, Mike. What is the equipment you use for showing the weather? From Aaron Kelly. Well, I'll show you guys. So, for anybody that's new, because we got a lot of new people here, so here's the Weather Center. This computer here, it's kind of a switcher. We can do post everything to our website. It also, all of our maps and everything. This will also does our scrolling across the bottom of the screen for when there's tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, and then it also does our in-house models. Our next computer here is our radar computer. It also does our time-lapse, and so that's what we're seeing right now. Again, that light little bit of mist and drizzle outside in that pink area. I had to increase the sensitivity. The internet computer, our main computer that we use for our broadcasts, so you can see there, 30 degrees. And if you look real closely, I'm going to try and hold the camera really still so you can see it a little bit better. If you watch down here, you can see where we are getting some of those rain droplets falling on there still and freezing. So that thing is just getting coated with ice outside. And there's no heater on it either. I don't know why. And then this is like this pulls in all of our weather temperatures, all of our observations. That's what this computer does. It pulls in our radar data. So that's kind of an important computer. But this is the entire Weather Center, all of these computers up here. Traffic just got moved up here, so Katie Garner in the morning is up here now. So pretty busy center, traffic weather center in the morning for the morning show. Eric, you want to know the globe map temperatures? Well, we focus on the hyperlocal forecast, so I don't have a global map, temperature map. If you want a particular place, I can let you know what it is there. So 3 more new questions. Pop this in here. Randy Drury, he's from Dayton area. He said multiple wrecks in Dayton from freeze up. Randy, if you're on here, let me know how much ice have you guys seen so far, and when did it start? How bad's the ice supposed to be in Columbus tonight? From Kyle Phillips. It really depends on where you are. There'll be pockets where the ice is going to be a little bit more intense than other spots. But once you get into some areas that are above freezing, it'll actually melt a little bit more. So as far as how bad the ice is going to be, it'll be in pockets. And it all depends on what the temperature is in that exact location. Had to shovel about half to a quarter of an inch of ice near 5th Street in Chillicothe near downtown. So is that, Aaron Kelly, if you're on here, was that just from today? You only saw about a quarter to a half an inch? Was that just ice or was that snow too? Let me know, because that's very interesting for what you guys had. Brenda Shannick from Toledo. Well, Brenda, you will be dealing with some freezing rain, and I'm going to double check the map for you guys way up in Toledo. For anybody that doesn't know Brenda, she lived in Dayton before when I worked at the Dayton station. Brenda, they have a freezing rain advisory just west of you guys, but you are based out of a different forecast office. You will be dealing with some freezing rain tonight, Brenda, and it's the same situation. We're going to get that light coating of ice out there in spots where it's cold enough and it's good enough to cause some problems. Eric asked, where did Katie used to work in the studio? She was in Studio B, which is next door here. I would show you guys, but all the lights are off and it'd just be a pitch black room. But she was in a separate room. I don't know why the traffic was originally over there in the other room, but I think it was over there because she used the walkie-talkie, and so that way she can talk to Mike Kilburn when he's out on the streets and kind of relay information back and forth between the two of them. All right, so I'm going to check Facebook, see if there are any other questions on here. And we're going to see what is going on with the questions. Brenda Shannick, just to answer that about Toledo. See if there are any questions on here. I do not see any questions on Facebook. Again, if you guys are on Facebook, just search Andrew Michael, or on Twitter, it's Andrew WSYX6, and I will answer those questions for you. Nancy J. just saying, unfortunately, you moved away from Dark County, and we don't receive the station you are on now. Miss you doing the weather here. So thanks, Nancy. All right, so let's see if there are any other new questions. Facebook, don't see any questions on there. Twitter, nope. So if you guys have any questions, again, let me know. Andrew WSYX on Twitter, and search Andrew Michael on Facebook. All right. Yes, ice and snow from Aaron Kelly. So it's interesting. Aaron, if you're still on, let me know how much snow that you guys had seen earlier today, because I heard some reports of about 2 inches, some about 3, some about 1. But if you know how much new snow just today you guys got, let me know. Raina Drury says, sorry, about 4 hours, not much ice. Fog mist, freezing on contact. Yeah, we're seeing that outside right now. Right outside the station, it's freezing. When I just came inside for my lunch break, I noticed I felt the top of the cars. It was interesting. So the roof of the cars, there was ice on that, but the side of the cars, it didn't have the ice on it. So I don't know if it was... I have no idea why it was just on the roof of the cars. I'm sure it's because temperatures are right at that freezing mark. Do you think there will be any school for Southwestern School District tomorrow? It's a great question. That is a question that I can't answer. That all depends on the school districts, because it's all going to depend on what the temperatures are like in the morning, what the superintendent goes out and takes a look at, whether he thinks it's enough ice to cancel or delay school. With temperatures tomorrow, though, we're going to stay almost flat dead even with temperatures throughout the entire day. So it's not going to get much warmer throughout the day, so not much melting. I know there was an earthquake yesterday in Oklahoma. Do you know when the last one was here in Ohio? Yes, there was one. I can answer that for you real quick. I do not delete any emails. I have so many. Last one here in Ohio was November 20th, and it was reported... November 20th, and it was reported about 1:15. And that was actually centered down by Athens, by Nelsonville. Just in a question, I think there is a delay. Cool. If you have any questions... All right, one new question here. I know there was an earthquake. I had that one. Yeah, about 2 to 3 inches. Cool. So Chillicothe saw about 2 to 3 inches today. For us up here in Ohio, I actually only had, us up in Columbus, I only had about a dusting to a half an inch today, so not a lot. What does the weather look like for Coshocton in the morning? Weather for Coshocton, again, we're going to see patchy, freezing mist and drizzle overnight tonight. Temperatures are going to be right near that freezing mark, so if you happen to be inside a community where there's more buildings, there's more heat retained, chances are it may be just warm enough that you do not see as much ice. But the outlying areas where you've got a lot more snow, that's where you'll see more ice. One sec. Yes, sir? If you guys don't want to go very far, right outside the station. Because I know, like, Live View and the back's iced over on the top and everything. Yeah, but I moved like Live View up to the front or whatever, so that way, yeah. Yep, I think that's good. All right, next. Cool. Sorry, they were trying to figure out where they want to put Mary Jedlicka for our live shot tonight, and I know, like I said, I just noticed the ice outside, so might as well do it here rather than driving around trying to find a place where there's not that much ice. But anyways, for Coshocton tomorrow morning, it's going to be patchy. So when you get into the outlying areas where it's a little colder, you'll probably start hitting some icy spots. So you got to just take it kind of carefully. Let me respond to... Ohio Bag Lady said that she sent me a question, but there's a delay. I haven't seen it yet. All right, so let's see what else questions. I'm from Muskingum County and was wondering if we will get any ice. I heard 1/10 of an inch on Facebook. I would say we'll be lucky to see 1/10 of an inch. I think most of this will be much thinner than that. I think that at most it's going to be just a very thin glaze. But that's all that it takes, and honestly, that's probably more dangerous than a 1/10 of an inch because you don't think that it's there, so you'll be driving on the road or whatever, 55 miles an hour, all of a sudden you hit that ice, and that's when you're going to get into some dangerous spots. Let me refresh this to see if I have any questions here. I'm going to check Facebook as well to see if anybody posted any new questions on Facebook. I'm going to refresh this. Hopefully you guys are all having a good evening. Browns lost. I don't know if nobody in Columbus could watch the Browns game really, unless you had NFL package, which I don't have that. Boy, Browns, they lost that game. They had less than 2 minutes left. They gave up 2 touchdowns and lost the game by 1 point. Frustrating. Oh, she asked about the earthquake question, so glad I was able to answer that question for you about the earthquake question. Let's see if there are any other questions. Nope, don't see any other questions right now. So again, if you guys have any questions, Facebook, Twitter, Andrew Michael on Facebook. On Twitter, it's Andrew WSYX6. If you guys have any plans coming up later this week, any place you guys are going, anything you're doing, let me know, and I will do the forecast for that for you guys. Answer any questions that you guys have. Keeping an eye on these temperatures, man, because if they fluctuate much, if they get above freezing, the ice is going to melt pretty fast. But right now, I'll show you this. This one updates more often. Right now, we are all sitting just, at least here in the metro area, we're sitting right below that freezing mark. 30 in Westerville, everyone else either 28 or 29. And then a wider view shows Circleville's at 31, Athens is at 31. Let's pop on here real quick. Current conditions, temperatures. Let's do a Midwest just to look at it. Ignore this green. That shouldn't be there. It's an error with the... There's a bad sensor. Somewhere there's a sensor down here that's saying 60 degrees, so that's why it's completely messing up with the colors. So 35 in Charleston, 34 in Lexington, 30 in Cincinnati, and this warm air will be pushing up overnight tonight, and it's just a matter of where that 32 degree mark line pushes into. And then we'll have another cold front swing through, bringing in colder temperatures. So that's the big question tonight. There's all the snow from earlier today that really kicked through. Moved right on through, especially south of I-70, and then this afternoon this cleared through, and now we've got this fog and mist in between this system, and that fog and mist in the middle is what's giving that little bit of glaze of ice outside. All right, so let's see if there are any other questions there on the Ustream, Facebook. Nothing seeing anything on there. How many ice will Columbus get near Westerville Road? For Columbus, again, we're expecting just a light glaze of ice, and that's exactly what we're seeing outside right now, as I showed you guys a little bit ago. Just like what we're seeing on our tower cam, this is all just a thin layer of ice, and that's exactly what we're expecting to see, just that thin layer of ice. And I'll flip this over to the other one. That's looking at downtown. That's been getting worse and worse because we're seeing that little thin layer of ice outside. So it's not a lot of ice, but it's enough to make things slippery. I do not think it's enough to knock down power lines or limbs. It's just going to be enough to be a nuisance and to cause a lot of accidents. So, as I said, I would leave early tomorrow, not because you're going to be in an accident, but if somebody else gets in an accident, backs up the highway, it's going to be, or backs up the street, whatever, it's going to be a nightmare. Randy Drury said, I'm liking the White Christmas chances more and more, and I completely agree. I think that we are going to be seeing a much better shot of seeing a White Christmas. What's your favorite classic TV show out of I Love Lucy, Mr. Ed, or Bewitched? I would say I Love Lucy. I think that's hilarious. I love Lucille Ball. Vicki Allen, are we supposed to have an ice storm tonight? I thought I read on Facebook earlier we could get 1/10 of an inch. This is so Vicki posted this in the social stream. I would not call this an ice storm by any means. A thin glaze of ice, sure. 1/10 of an inch, I don't think we're going to get that much of ice. It's going to be enough, like I said, just enough to coat the surface, coat limbs, your windshield, the sidewalks, the decks, enough to make it slippery. Anything that's not treated, anything that's not salted will probably have a little bit of ice in spots tomorrow. But then temperatures, again, overnight are going to be right near that 32-degree mark. So if you warm up enough, it will melt it. If not, then it will be, it'll actually stay as ice. And Kyle Phillips asking the same thing. How bad is the ice supposed to be in Columbus tonight? It's going to be more of a nuisance ice than an ice storm. It's just going to be that just pesky ice that's kind of causing problems. Another new question on here as it's trying to fill in. I already got that one. Where are you putting your phone? I'm putting my phone down in the corner right here.